Hey, I'm Val. Welcome to my channel. I'm kind of going over some things that I do on my property. I am living in rural Tennessee in a place that's considered the foothills of Appalachia. And one of the things that I really loved about this particular parcel was that the previous owner planted bamboo, which is behind me. Now, I know that you probably think, don't plant bamboo, it's insane, it'll just take over your whole property. And I promise you that it will. But you can maintain it and make it something that is a beautiful attribute for you, as well as possibly additional projects, right? Because it's such a sustainable and fast growing thing. So you can see here we're in late fall or late October. And one of the things that I love about the bamboo is that it's green all year round. So even when all these leaves are gone, I'm going to have a little dose of greenery on the property. So the other thing that's always green is there's always moss in places, right? So you can look up, look down, and find things that are just beautiful color all year round. The problem I have had is that in the wintertime, if we do have like crazy ice storms or a little bit like heavy snow that's super wet, this can collapse the bamboo and some of it will break. The other thing, the other challenge that I've had is that the donkeys discovered, kind of like an elephant or pandas or whatever, that they want to eat the leaves. So I remember one day a few years ago, I was driving out and I kept hearing this snapping sound and rustling sound. And what I realized was that the donkeys were in the bamboo grove and like basically like snapping it off so they can reach the leaves. It was pretty funny. So immediately, like the next day, I actually had to go buy a ton of T-posts. You can see those with the white tips behind me, and some fencing, and literally put a fence around it. And then I think two winters ago, um, it really started to be lush bamboo and kind of growing to the edge of the fence. So the donkeys will go directly up to the fence and reach and grab. So I took all of the fence posts out and pushed it back 6 feet so that I could get a mower in there and keep the donkeys away from it. So harvesting the bamboo has been something pretty fun, and I've been finding really great uses for bamboo. So let's take a look at some of the projects that I'm working on right now and a couple of things that might inspire you. So one of the challenges of this property is it's actually pretty long on the edge of a really well maintained state highway. But the road is up there and there's this lovely hill that is maintained by the TDOT. Um, and I needed a runoff situation here for the water, which is not working very well. But anyway, at some point, to keep kind of this fence is two purposes. One is decorative, right? Um, just to have kind of a visible barrier. And I'm using the bamboo, let's see, as a kind of fun, um, like architectural, playful element. And the birds really love this. I love walking in the morning and seeing the birds. Then I also planted some vines, right, so that I can get some height and just a little bit of color here and a little bit of an obstruction of the road and neighbors and that kind of thing. And to try to make this kind of this like, like an entryway or just like the wall, but not a solid wall, right? You could build like, and there's every time there's like, that's like rush hour, like one random car. Um, So what I love is that I have this bamboo that grows really tall and really thick, that I can create these kind of fun structures, right? So it comes out of the ground, oftentimes the thickness that it's going to be, and then grows really fast. So what I love is that for this project, I was able to create these like long, spewy, flowy lines, and the flowers are slowly growing on there, which is going to be fantastic. I can't wait for next summer. And then in the mornings, the birds just love, like even like way up there, the birdies love that. So over here, um, my newest challenge is I was doing some work. Yeah, so you can see the spears of this bamboo, dry bamboo, just kind of architecturally, just kind of making these lines in the sky, which I think are really interesting, and the swoopiness of, so that top part is not supposed to be like any sort of, weight bearing structural thing. The second reason why I put up this fence, the lower fence, was just to kind of keep some of the mowing clippings from the runoff section that I have here. I don't know if you can see that. So that's been slightly successful, slightly not successful, because you can see that the mowers aren't getting close enough to they're being lazy and they're not getting close to the fence. So that's creating another challenge, because this is super slopey. So what I'm working on right now is, there's some windows here from a dwelling, and like right there with the tree. And I was inside doing some work in that room, and realized, like, when you're in that room, it's really, someone can be standing on the road. I mean, there's no one around, but someone could be standing on the road, right? So I wanted to create like a secret little garden space, and create like a little visible, like a visual barrier for when there's no leaves on the trees and that kind of thing. So you can see that I've started with this, and I've done something similar on other parts of the property, as well as like in my chicken coop. So there's another video about that, and the peacocks. I've used bamboo as kind of like a structural space to hold up some of the netting. So basically what I'm doing here is I had some remnant wire netting fencing, and a couple of T-posts just to hold the edge up. And I'm weaving this through. So I just kind of figured, I counted, like you can kind of see the first one, the third one, and then going down. And then eventually this is going to make this really cool, like, secret garden kind of space right here. So I've got materials of like other things that I'm working on behind here. So projects are always kind of like in flow, and I have to get my head around, like, sometimes there's like an orderly process to things, like, projects are always in a state of flow, rather than like I have to finish one thing and lead to another. It really just depends on the weather, how I'm feeling physically, all that kind of stuff. So let's take a look at the bamboo that I've cut down yesterday, that I'm going to use for, see how much more I need for this project to finish this up. I have 2 panels here, and then in the back I've got a shade garden here. I've got a cool maple tree and a hops tree up here. And then over on this side is a big sunny flower garden, because this gets a lot of like crazy direct sun in the summertime, in the afternoons. So this bamboo fence privacy little section is also going to help with a little bit of that. So I'm really conscious about, like, how do I create like a fun exterior livable space that creates a lot of delight and color and playfulness and like shapes and textures, but then it also has some sort of function with creating shade and thinking about like energy consumption and that kind of thing. So let's take a look at the material that I just cut down and my process of what I'm going to be doing. Okay, so this is a pile. I don't know how many pieces are in there, 20 something. I cut these down yesterday. It doesn't take that long to cut. Um, you can see that I'm basically using that, I'll find it, a very simple, quick blade that you can use for trimming, pruning. Hi, Daisy. Hi, Daisy. What are you doing? Hi, Daisy. This is Daisy. Hi, baby. Daisy's best friend, best sister friend. That's Dandelion. Yeah, so um, to cut all of this, it maybe took me, it doesn't take very long, maybe 10, 15 minutes to cut this part. Then you got to kind of drag it out of that space. And that's where there's some more physical labor because you can only carry like 2 or 3 or 4 of these at a time. These are actually quite heavy material, but look how beautiful they are. Now, I've been to Japan, this is Leo, multiple times, and one of the things that I just loved about the bamboo usage, so you'll see bamboo in the Japanese gardens, and then you'll also see bamboo used as fencing material. Now, I'm not doing things that are as structurally concise as what I've seen. They do have some really great building methods where these are like super tight together. I'm just using the wire fencing right now because it's material that I have and I can go a little bit faster with it, and I don't have to build like a frame or anything for it. The other thing that I've seen in Japan when I've been there is that they actually do create their and fix their fencing with green material. So I've seen a couple of debates online when I was doing research about this. And some of it says, you need to elevate it and keep it out of the rain, let it dry. And I have done that in some cases where it's actually like deteriorated, fallen apart in certain spots. So because I want to show you this project and that I want to kind of get this done faster than waiting for this to dry cure for 6 months, because I really don't have a place to store it right now. We're gonna cut this down and put it up green. Okay, so don't at me. Um, I did a lot of research to figure out if the bamboo leaves were safe for donkeys. I cannot find that information anywhere. I have allowed their natural tendency to have already done this when I didn't have a fence around it and they were eating the leaves, um, to know that they are not keeling over, they're not getting laminitis. So I do allow them to eat the leaves off the branches in a very limited quantity, as a treat. And you can see that they'll eat grass down to the dirt. So we have some challenges coming up. Probably during the winter time, they will be quarantined into their corrals, which is more over there. And hopefully, I'll be able to harvest a lot more bamboo. Once you harvest it, it lets a little bit light go in there, and it'll regrow. So you can actually see if I zoomed in, um, there's quite a bit dead stuff from the freeze that we had um, 10 months ago. Okay, so anyway, so now I'm at the point where I have cut it down and let them eat most of the leaves off of it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop all of these little pieces off first, which is great kindling. And then I will be able to use the little handsaw to cut these pieces down. And the way that I'm doing that privacy fence, I'm probably going to use each one of these pieces in two. So I'm not concerned about it being equal in thickness or in height, because I'm just kind of creating this playful fence material. Now, I am going to do a similar treatment later when I can harvest more bamboo to create a visual barrier. And I want fence. Notice how tall that is. Like I want something that's at least 12 feet to be a visual barrier to the road, and the neighbors have this like really annoying street light. So I'm trying to at some point in the next few months I'll be doing that project as well. And when I do that, I kind of want a little bit thicker pieces, which you have to kind of hunt for inside. All right, so let me show you the process of this. Okay, so this is a machete. I think I actually found this like clearance aisle or something like that. Safety first, remember that. You can see I've been using this. I found that this is like the perfect tool to do this. So let's see if I can actually record this. But basically, always cut away from yourself. Never torch yourself. You do not want to have an accident. I told a story in a different video. This little scar here is from when I was in 4th grade and was whittling and was whittling like this. And then I went like this by accident because I was only in 4th grade and cut myself, right? So I always remember that. All right, let's see. Okay. The first step here is to hack all this stuff off, and I'm right-handed, so left side, and sometimes it works going the other direction. Let's see if I can get it to work. Yep. So it's pretty much like a methodical long. So sometimes if you're cutting this direction, it will leave that little piece. So if I do it from this side, it's a little more of a pain because all of this stuff is like in my way, but it gives you a much cleaner joint here, right? So this piece here I have to cut off. Okay, so I'm going to find a better spot to do this, and I might record a little bit of it. I'm not doing the ends because I'm going to cut those off. It's for that fence part. For the other stuff, I might leave it, but for this project, I'm just going to start it out here. Leo. What are you doing? What's up, buddy? Meowies.